Your oven can clean itself. No heavy scrubbing, no toxic lung-stinging sprays. Just the press of a button. And a few hours later, the mess has basically vanished. So, what's actually happening behind that locked glass? Because when you think about it, self-cleaning sounds like marketing magic. Welcome to the smart side, where we look under the hood of everyday life. Today, we're breaking down the hidden chemistry of self-cleaning ovens. By the end of this, you'll know exactly how it works and why it smells like a science experiment gone wrong. All right, first, let's look at the enemy. That black, crusty gunk on the bottom of your oven, that isn't just dirt. It's carbonized food that's been cooked and recooked until it's part of the machine. Think about the usual suspects: splattered bacon grease, bubbling tomato sauce, dripping cheese. That's a complex cocktail of fats, sugars, and proteins. When those get hit with 400-degree heat over and over, they undergo a chemical transformation. They don't stay soft. They don't stay easy to wipe. They polymerize, turning into a tough, plastic-like film that bonds to the surface. It's basically a layer of organic glue. That's why a wet sponge does nothing. You're not fighting food anymore. You're fighting a hardened coating that heat has literally fused into place. So how do you defeat a bond that strong? There are two ways to win this war. Option one is a chemical attack. That's what heavy-duty oven cleaners do. They use high pH lye to dissolve the bonds of the grease. Option two, total thermal destruction. That's the self-cleaning cycle. It doesn't wash the oven. It doesn't use steam or soap. It uses pyrolysis. It literally turns the mess into ash. Here's the science. During a self-clean cycle, the oven cranks the temperature up to nearly 900 degrees Fahrenheit. That is way hotter than any pizza or roast will ever need. At that temperature, the organic molecules in the food residue can't hold together. The heat provides so much energy that the chemical bonds simply snap. Some of it vaporizes into gas and drifts out the vent. The rest gets charred beyond recognition. What's left isn't grease or sauce. It's pure, dry, carbon-based ash, and that is the magic trick. Ash isn't sticky. Ash doesn't smear. It loses its grip on the oven wall. So when the cycle ends, you aren't scrubbing. You're just sweeping up a tiny pile of gray dust. Now you might be wondering, if the oven is getting hot enough to cremate a lasagna, why is it safe to have in your kitchen? This is a masterpiece of engineering. The moment you hit that button, a mechanical bolt locks the door. That lock isn't there for show. It's there because the inside of your oven has become a controlled volcanic chamber. Opening that door mid-cycle would be incredibly dangerous. The reason the cycle takes 3 or 4 hours isn't just the cleaning, it's the safety. The oven has to ramp up slowly, hold that peak burn temperature, and then cool down for over an hour before the sensors deem it safe to unlock. But let's address the elephant in the room. The smell. If you've ever run a cycle and thought, "Is my house on fire?" Don't panic. That's actually the sound of progress. As the food breaks down, it releases carbon monoxide and other airborne compounds. This happens most at the beginning of the cycle, before the residue is fully incinerated. If there's a thick layer of grease, you'll see smoke. That's why the pro tip is to wipe out the big chunks before you start. Self-cleaning is for the stains, not the leftovers. There's also a secret weapon inside the oven walls: enamel. Most self-cleaning ovens are lined with a special glass-based coating. It's incredibly smooth and heat-resistant. This glassy surface makes it even harder for the ash to stick, allowing it to slide right off when the heat hits it. Now keep in mind, not all self-cleaning labels mean the same thing. The ash method we've been talking about is the classic high-heat version, but some modern ovens use steam clean or catalytic liners. Steam cleaning uses lower heat and water to loosen light messes, while catalytic liners actually eat grease slowly during your regular cooking. They are more like a slow background assistant, but for the heavy-duty jobs, nothing beats the power of the burn. So, let's zoom out. The big idea here is actually quite elegant. Self-cleaning ovens don't clean in the traditional sense. They don't move the dirt. They change the state of the matter. They take sticky, stubborn, bonded residue and vibrate it with heat until it shatters into dry, brittle dust. So, the next time you hear that door lock click into place, remember what's happening inside. You aren't just running an appliance. You're using high-energy physics to turn a kitchen nightmare into a handful of dust. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the everyday tech in your home, please hit that like button and subscribe to The Smart Side. It helps us keep the lights on and the ovens burning. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.